Hello everybody, this is Driver. I figured I would do a video, and it's actually going to be a three-part of Car Mechanic Simulator. So we are going to be stripping down and rebuilding / restoring a car. And no, it is not the vehicle in the image. That was a mod that I used to have but don't have anymore. It kind of died due to updates. So we are going to be rebuilding a Ford. I think it's a GT40 is what they're calling it in here. It's part of one of the DLCs, I believe. So bear with me here just a minute and I'll get our screen switched over. Okay, now we're back into the game. I have to apologize, I wasn't able to use my normal switchings on this computer. But here's the Ford GT40 that we are going to rebuild. It's actually not in horrible looking shape, in all honesty. It does have some wear and tear as far as the exterior is concerned. This is the status of the car. It needs a lot of engine work. We got a lot of parts we don't have any idea what's wrong with them. And body wise, this thing's in fairly decent shape. We even have one 100% tail light. Imagine that, right? So in all honesty, the car's in reasonable shape for what it is. Unfortunately, I have to take the whole camshell off just to even look at the motor. Interior wise, it looks okay. We're missing a seat, but that seat doesn't look too horrible. So so anyhow, we're going to do this in a three-part segment. Hoping I haven't already said this in the first part, but anyhow, we're gonna do this in three pieces. First piece, we're gonna do pretty much what I'm gonna do the same way I always do it, but I'm gonna break it up into three pieces. So part one is going to be suspension, pretty much everything on the car: suspension, exhaust, the transmission, driveline. All that's going to get pulled off, rebuilt, and put back on, except the transmission. The transmission and driveline will keep out because part two, we will pull the motor out of the car. Once we pull the motor out, we'll put it on the engine stand, we'll rebuild the motor, and then we'll put it back in the car. We'll bolt the transmission and driveline back up, and that'll be part two. Part three will probably be the shortest part of them all, because all we're going to be doing is removing all the body panels, interior panels, the windows, lights, you name it. We're going to rebuild we're going to fix what we can fix and buy what we need to buy, put it all back together, and in the end, we are going to sell this old girl. I looked at what the car is valued at right now, the way she sits, and she values for $51,287. Now, parts are going to be provided through mostly out of my warehouse, as long as I have the availability of them. I'll only buy what I need to buy. That's primarily what I've been doing now. I haven't really been doing regular menu item stuff. So let's throw this up on the lift, or move it to the lifter. I did go and cut my audio levels down so it ain't so loud. Using some of the tools in the game and whatnot, you don't actually get to use them, and just the noises of them can be a little noisy. So but I figured this would be something a little bit different from some of the stuff that I normally do. I still may do some single player videos of ATS. I know that's been kind of my main thing here lately. And I plan on doing some more videos of Farm Sim as well. I'm not neglecting all the games I normally played. So I just realized something I did not do. I forgot to turn on the music for y'all's listening pleasure. Give y'all something to listen to. Okay. I'm making sure everything's looking correct as well. Running on a laptop, I'm only single monitor right now. Not able to see a lot of the stuff that I'm used to seeing when I do this on my desktop. apologize if I'm going a little bit fast. I kind of get into a rhythm. I've been playing this game here for a few years now, off and on. So I kind of just go at it, you know. I don't really slow down a whole lot unless I need to, you know, step away and take a break from the computer or something like that. Come on, highlight. There it goes. Got a little small parts. So that was the whole front end, and it is gone. While we're under here, we're gonna grab the fuel tanks. That's one thing I did fail to mention was the fuel tanks. I think all the exhaust is either A, MIA, missing in action, or there ain't none. Oh, there is some exhaust right there. So like there's a muffler. Gotta be 2 mufflers on this thing. We're gonna look at that before we go and grab parts. I have a fair amount of different parts in my warehouse. I may not have everything I need, but we're gonna go with what I got. Buy the rest. This is the front end piece. Oh, neat. Whoops. I did not want to go that side of the car yet, but we're over here now. Yeah, we're missing exhaust. When buying these vehicles out of barns and junkyards, you'll be amazed at the stuff that's missing and some of the weird places too. Hope everybody's having a pretty good week so far. I left town from where I'm staying at now, where I live with a buddy of mine, to do some stuff. I also drive for a living. Sometimes I take road trips. Not all the time, but you know, here and there I'll take road trips. Most of the time I work local. So I don't leave town too often for too long. But I have some things I had to take care of, so. Okay. We'll leave that on there for now. Typically don't need to pull the battery from under here, but we're going to go ahead and do that too, I guess. So, when it comes to the engine here, typically if you were just working on this on a lift, you can go ahead and drop the pan from here and do things like that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave this whole motor intact the way it is, and we're just going to pull it out and work on it. So, we have everything off the car. We're going to hit our little handy dandy workbench here. Now I'm able to repair everything, and I get a 95 to 99% chance on my repairs. Sometimes you break parts, sometimes you don't. I'm just going to try to fix everything I can fix that came off of it. I'm probably going to break a few things. There's going to be a fair amount of them parts I can't refix or reuse. Some parts are not even fixable. And oddly, there's some parts I think that should be fixable that are not fixable. Okay, so that's all taken care of. We fixed pretty much what we could fix. Oh, we need to break this stuff down. So, you have this spring puller here. And while that's pulling that apart, we'll go ahead and separate the tires as well. Kind of do 2 jobs at one time. Like I said, I get into a little bit of a groove here. I also need to try to see if I can fix those wheels. The tires we're definitely going to be buying new. These suspension parts, you can't even rebuild any of them. Can't redo the springs or anything like that. So we're definitely going to have to buy new, but we need them broke down to know exactly what we need. There's different kind of springs and, well, there's actually the same spring, but different kind of shocks and whatnot. So that's the last one to break down on that. I think we got all those. Yep. tires right there. Let's see if we can fix these wheels real fast. Only 2. So I'll have to see if I have any of those wheels in my warehouse. If not, those will definitely have to be purchased. So yeah, there she is with a bear underneath for now. So at this point, I may have to do a little bit of editing with this warehouse. Sometimes the loading times to get in there, to get in here, is a little lengthy, and I will just have to clip and cut. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for parts that are broken and find parts that match it that's fixed. As you can tell, I've fixed almost everything that I could fix. Let's see, we need one of those, so we can go ahead and just sell that one now. These here cannot be fixed, so I will have to purchase all them. I'm gonna leave them here. We'll put them back. We'll put them somewhere when we're done. So we did have a little bit of engine parts, but not by much. We'll be getting more in depth with this engine stuff later. Okay. Warehouse time is taking a little bit. We can recharge this battery. I'm not worried about it. So we definitely need fuel tanks if they're even available. So we're not going to scroll through this whole list. We're going to, there we go. Do it this way. A little bit of a pain in the butt, but there we go. Fuel tanks. So I just want to make sure I don't have any fuel tanks that I can use. See, I do have this one here, but they're not repairable. I want to put new stuff, or I want to be 100%. So, off to the next category. We'll have to buy that stuff. Exhaust. No guarantees here either. Okay, let's see what we have available for the exhaust. We need a rear muffler. This one won't take as long to scroll down through. Sorry about all the ticking noise. It does that when you go over each item like that. And I've tried to just scroll from out here with my scroll wheel and I can't do it. So I have to apologize, but there's nothing I can do about it. So let's see, rear muffler. Don't think I'm gonna have it, but well. Rear muffler. Don't think we're gonna have a rear muffler. Would have been nice. Okay, off to gearbox. And let's see, that one didn't take as long to load, so we need a clutch plate here. We cannot rebuild these, so I'm not going to have any good ones laying in here. So off to the next category, which will be rims and tires. We got to look for rims. Might as well look and see if we have any tires. So we'll start with the rims. So I need a rim GT40. Sometimes it's easier to type down here. There's a little search bar. You can do a type, but sometimes it takes just as long or longer to load what exactly you're looking for, rather than just scrolling through this like this. A little bit annoying, I know, but this is kind of what you'd have to do anyways, right? You'd have to look through your stockpile, see what you got. I mean, in a perfect world, we would have this all, you know, cataloged in like a computer, but let's see, F350, F350, and it just goes to H, it skips the G's, so we don't have any of these rims either. So we're gonna have to purchase those off the suspension. Okay, we managed the suspension. So let's see, we're gonna need one bottom suspension arm B. I got a lot of the regular ones. Go, there's a B right there. Alright, so I'm not going to have any new shocks, obviously, because you can't fix those, can't fix those. rear axle knuckle housing D. We'll just skim way down there. Oh, close enough. Housing D. There we are. So it saves a little bit of money having your own parts that you can either fix or, you know, possibilities of rebuilds. But you do end up with broken stuff from time to time. So that stuff I can't do. I forgot to look for tires. Let's go back to rims and tires. This is a category section that I made. Now it gives you the option to have multiple warehouse, I call it shelves. I broke it down pretty close to what is across here. So just so you know. Okay. Now, tires are technically under the suspension. That's why I forget about them sometimes. So, get to our tires here. We need vintage tire B. We got a fair amount of those. 175. We gotta make sure they're sized right. There's a size right here. It might be hard for you to read. But I either need 265 or 315. 245s. That's for a 23-inch wheel. These two tires would kind of work, but they're not the right style. So I don't think we're going to run those. We'll just go ahead and buy tires. So we're done with the warehouse. Oh, we actually came out of there pretty quick. So, there's kind of easy ways to do this. If you're not familiar with the game, you have parts notes. I have nothing in my list right now. So when you're looking at your inventory, and we're going to sort this by name. And I've got a bunch of the barn maps that has to have been done. We need to charge this battery. I keep forgetting to do that. And what I do is you can right click these. In the top left you'll see that added brake disc. So we're going to need 2 of those, 4 brake pads, pressure plate, clutch release bearing, 2 of that one and 2 of that one. These are 2 different styles. This is what you got to watch for. This is just shock absorber and this one is rear. Gonna need a flywheel, a couple of those, We was missing one of these, so we need 2 of those. 2 wheels. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. I do that because I'll forget how many I need. Memorizing is not exactly my greatest aspect, I guess. And then what I'm going to do is there's 2 different tire sizes here. Unfortunately on the parts notes it does not show you what the tire size is in your notes. So I always write it down, and I recommend that you do the same thing if you're ever doing this. So we got 265 and 350. Hold on. We'll just do 2 different tire sizes. I was going to try to cheat. 265, 60 R15s, and then we've got 315, 60. Are they both 60s? Okay. Thought for a second they weren't the same height. And then I'll have that R15 to know my wheel size. Now another thing to keep in note, and I haven't seen any vehicles with this yet, but it has ET and it's got 0 here. You can get a different ET. I don't know what this ET stands for. I'm assuming offset, but I'm not 100% on that one. So we're going to use our fancy little tablet here. Check out our parts list. And unfortunately our shopping list exceeded the length of the screen, and we can scroll it down and look at it a little further. So what I do is for these parts I always just search it by name. So we'll go brake, We need to 2 these discs. 2 that are ventilated. 4 pads. A lot of times I don't type the full name. Usually a few letters kind of gets you where you got to go. So we need a front and rear of those. We'll do a whole word of front because we've got a whole list of front here. So we need 2 shock absorber caps. 2 springs. We need a sway bar. That'd be this one. Only downside about this is it covers up this side of this row here for you, so it kind of messes that up for you. Need a fuel tank. Now what we need is we need B and C, if I'm remembering correctly. Yes. So there's B and then there's C. You'll need both inner and outer tie rods. Let's see here, rear muffler. There it is. So we needed 2 of them. 2 shock absorber caps for the back. 2 springs for the rear. Rim, so that's in a different area. So the rim we need is GT40. There we go. Gonna need 2. They were 15s. Go back to our parts here. Scroll it down so it was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. At least they're cheap. And front end link B. Now we need some tires. Now we need vintage tire B. There we go. So we need 2 15-inch. And let's see here, 265/60. Oops. All right, I'll do that again. And the other one was 315/60. Always just kind of follow my list in order. That way I don't get off and forget something. Okay, so we have purchased all the parts we need. So let's start bolting things back together. We'll start by getting these springs together. We gotta get these tires, whoops, one. You get these tires installed, and then we also got to balance some tires. One thing about this game, it will not let you put that tire on until it is balanced. Get that one started. And I know I tend to go a little bit fast here. If y'all would like for me to slow down, be sure to leave that in the comments and I can do that for you guys. Whoa. Why did all my... Okay, so we needed more wheels than that. Oh, wrong search. So we technically needed 4. Alright. Could have sworn that we had enough wheels there, but that's okay. Okay, that should be all the old stuff there. And we got 2 more sets of tires to balance here. Okay, now I have 1 extra wheel here that I don't need. So it looks like I accidentally bought too many. I think yeah, because I still had the 1 here on the balancer. That was my fault. It's not very often that I do that, but it happens. That's the good thing about the warehouse. Just throw them in the warehouse, and you'll have them for the next project later on. So that should be all of them balanced. So let's take a look here. 2, 3, 4 sets of wheels, and we got our 4 shock setups. Okay, so it looks like we got everything we need here. Start in the front. We'll get this all bolted back up. Oh, that's why I did that. Forgot to put the sway bar up here. Let me put this link on here. Don't want to forget that old thing. So let's see, tire. No, not the 315. There we go. Narrower on the front, wider on the back, right? Whoa. That was kind of weird. Alright, move to this side here. We got the front end all done now. Let's go ahead and get these fuel tanks mounted back up, get the new fuel pump in there. We don't want to forget that. Let's head back. Oh, we forgot to charge our battery. So let's go do that real quick before we forget again. Or I guess it wasn't we, I forgot. So cool thing about with the batteries is that it can be a 1% battery of life, and you can charge it up to 100%. fortunately, because of that, I have a full arsenal of batteries. I've been actually tempted to sell most of those, actually. Okay, and I just remembered too, we're not going to be able to put the back tires on because we're not going to be able to put the rear drive in. Be the one side drive shaft. Gotta have the transmission in to do that, so we'll get all the rest of this bolted up. And I decided was thinking about it, I'm not going to put this rear muffler on. I have ran into cases to where it wouldn't let me take this manifold off because this was because that was installed. No point in having to jack this thing up again. Get a battery under. So with this one here being a little bit of a unique project, some of this is going to go a little out of order than the way I initially planned it to, but you know, that's kind of how things go. Sometimes it doesn't always go according to plan. Zoom out. Oh. I had my mouse in the wrong place that time. But that right there is about all we can do on that part. So, got some nice shiny looking tires up front. Look pretty good there too, don't they? So, that's pretty much going to conclude that. Let's see. Oh yeah, we've got, another thing that I typically do is I go ahead and I'll go ahead and sell off all this junk I can't fix. I make sure not to sell any of the parts that I can either A, fix or use on another project. I never keep the tires because even on a regular work order job, they always want brand new tires, they want brand new rims, and brand new body parts and windows and so forth. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave all this right here in my inventory for the moment. I'm going to throw that in the warehouse after I end the stream. So with that said, I'm going to throw this up there. I can actually do this one. And I appreciate you guys watching me and hanging out. That wasn't too horribly long. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've never been to my channel and would like to see more stuff like this, feel free to subscribe to me. And I'm also over on Twitch. I live stream quite a bit, but I also do a little bit of recording content as well. So I'm kind of back and forth on both spectrums. But you're more than welcome to follow me over on Twitch. Just look in my About Me section of YouTube, and you can find my link to go over there. So with all that said, I hope you all have a great day / night, whatever time it is for you, and I will see you later. See ya.